Welcome to another episode of Talking with Kevin and Son, featuring people we should know. Hi, my name is Kevin McLemore. I am your show host, four-time published author, um, public speaker, and mindset messenger. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Our mission is to give power to our voices, inspire, share stories and experience and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. In short, we showcase people you should know. Our purpose is very simple, helping other people every single day. Whatever your objective, successful people create a framework around their day-to-day lives that sometimes enhance their lives. And like our guests today, many of them, they pour into others. Today, we are going to have what I would call an uncomfortable conversation and a conversation that needs to be had. Many of us are gearing up to watch championship football this weekend, or some of us are preparing to go back to school. Some of us are setting up to go from a winter wonderland to a summer vacation, someplace in the Keys or whatever. And the rest of us are just dealing with our day-to-day lives. Today, our guest, he is the CEO and founder of Kier Foundation, who stands at the forefront of the fight to save over 100,000 children here in the United States that either have the trait or are battling the sickle cell disease. The foundation is committed to providing support, education, and resources to individuals and their families that are affected by sickle cell anemia. And we are looking, and this show is committed not only to provide resources, but to find a cure. So let me welcome to the show an amazing, talented young man who happens to be the co-host of Steve Harvey's Morning Show. He is a social activist, and I said earlier, he is the founder and the CEO of Kier Foundations, Mr. Junior. He is also joined with what I say is the medical Houdini, is Dr. Nahara. And we have brought someone here special because not only are you going to be educated, you're going to be well informed. We're going to share some stories, but we're also going to show you how you can be part with a minimal investment of the cure to cure sickle cell anemia. So to the show, Kier Junior Spates, founder and CEO of the Kier Hope Foundation, Dr. Nahara. He is the person that has been waving the magic wand, and he has been the in the background. The reason why Kiera, instead of being here, when they said he wasn't going to be here at 11, he saw 12, he saw 13, now he saw 40. Dr. Nahara is part of the reason. And the person in the background that's making sure that everything adds up and we keep the lights on and we keep the dream alive. We have Mrs. Stephanie Wilson to the show. So with that said, welcome, Talking with Kevin and Son. How you doing, guys?
Thank you.
Oh, we don't understand it. How you
Doing
doing?
well. Thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's amazing. You can always tell that, when you're on a black show that, when the host that has all the money shows up with swag and a hat and matching jacket and shoes and everything else, and we just show up as normal people. Hey, Kieran. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean we're on the show.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, we on the show, yeah. You
no,
know,
let
you know
let
what,
let
man?
let
I
me
have to
let me
have
say
this stuff.
this.
I have to have
That's
this.
okay. Let me get serious. I said at the top of the show, over 100,000 cases here in the United States. When you look at that number of the 328 million people in the United States, when you talk about a cure, I understand why there is a huge discrepancy between the 7.2 billion dollars that goes to cancer research versus the $80 million that was given to research just for sickle cell. But I also, wonder who else is affected by sickle cell other than people of color here in the United States? Kiara, can you let me know?
Well, there are various reasons you could say that. We like to believe that's one of them. Um, and it's about race and color and who's affected, and what's more important, or how you want to look at it. My issue is that it's not given the attention. And then because of such a lack of attention that some people may die unnecessarily. Just empathy, lack of empathy on how we're treated and certain things that go into being overlooked because of this disease, and just seeing it in my own life. Yeah, there's 100,000 with the disease. There's way more people, maybe 3 million in this country with the trait that create people like me. And so the thing I've learned in my journey with sickle cell is that the fact that it's not right, and secondly, there is something we can do about it. And just, that's why I created my foundation to bring awareness to it. And that was something that was personal for me because, even though I have a platform, I can speak out. When I go into the hospital, I don't go in there as a celebrity or anything like that. By the time they figure it out, they want to come back with the apology. But by that time, I've already been mistreated. So it doesn't mean, it doesn't matter if I'm Junior from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm a patient today. I'm in need of something today. I need the pain medicine. You are underserving my pain. I am being mistreated, and I'm aware of that. And that's not to say that all emergency rooms or all hospitals are like that, but I do know of a few where I live that have done that have given me this mental thought to say, hey, that if they're doing it to me, they're doing it to some other people. And this is why not only do I just want to change the whole outlook, that's why our motto is working to change the shape of sickle cell. When I say the shape of sickle cell, I mean the entire overall life experience with sickle cell. That's what I'm working to change. And not only is I'm working for a cure, because I like to for us to have the best quality of life possible. And that can only be done through medication. That can only be done through research. And so everything that you have to look at to take into focus about what we're doing here for sickle cell has to be taken from the perspective of quality of life. And that's the important part.
That's all right. When I started this show, and for those of you that are listeners that follow this show, the first thing that's going to come up is you're going to say, didn't he just do a show featuring Dr. Nahara and Junior? And the answer is yes. Not only is this going to be this is two of many. I got to explain to you the reason why RMK Productions and myself are committed to making sure that this becomes at the forefront of our daily conversations. When you look at the fact that for a 60-second ad in the Super Bowl that's playing this week between hometown favorites, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the repeat champions, Kansas City. I love barbecue, but I hope that I don't have to celebrate this weekend because of that. When you look at an $8 million ad for 60 seconds in order to sell potato chips, in order to talk about a bunch of horses or whatever the case may be, that $8 million could save a child's life. That $8 million could provide care, or could be the first brick that's laid on the foundation of the land that was just purchased for the Kier Hope Foundation. So we can have facilities much like St. Jude's and the children's hospitals. We can have a hospital designated just to take care of that. So when you ask, why am I still doing it? You don't have to ask why. But to understand that this show is predicated based on giving you information of telling you how much pain this disease causes. It affects your organs. It creates life-threatening complications. And although many of these cases go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed, it's the children that are dealing with this, or the young people that go into the emergency rooms and they say they are drug seekers, and all they're doing is looking for an answer to a pain. So, Dr. Nahara, if you don't mind, I know that this is a blood disease and it affects the abnormal shaping of hemoglobin in the blood. Can you explain to our listeners just exactly what sickle cell anemia is, or sickle cell disease?
Okay, this is a disease that affected people, or a disease that affects people originating from Central and West Africa, Middle East, and India. And this is a genetic disease. It's passed on from parents down on. And gene is an interesting gene because if a person has one gene, in which case we call them trait, then they'll have resistance against malaria. But if a person receives this gene from father and mother, one each, then it causes this sickle cell anemia, which causes deformation and stickiness of red blood cells. And red blood cells are very important in carrying our oxygen to different parts of our body. But because of this deformation and stickiness, it clogs up the small blood vessels. And when the small blood vessels are clogged up, then it causes difficulty delivering oxygen, which is absolutely necessary for every part of our body to survive. And also, it prevents the nutrients to get to, different parts of our body. So it causes lack of oxygen and nutrients to this part of body, which causes infarction or death of that area of the body, leads to inflammation, and all this causes severe, severe pain. And you keep having this blockage, then you're going to have damage to every part of our body. Little by little, it can lead to heart failure, liver failure, kidney failure, stroke, infections, and whatnot. And eventually, the patients will die at young age. This disease is one of the most horrible disease that I've ever seen because it also accompanies severe pain. And in my experience, pain is a lot worse than many of the cancer patients. On top of this, there seems to be lack of knowledge and also a little bit of, I guess, not more than a little bit, of stigma against this disease, both in U.S. and all these countries where they're from. Something that many people, some people in the rural parts of Africa thinks that this is a curse. So people don't want to reveal that they themselves or family have this disease. In this country, unfortunately, medical community have very little understanding or compassion for this disease at this moment, or maybe they just lack knowledge. But a lot of times, unfortunately, these patients are mistreated when they seek relief for their pain.
And thank you for that share. And the reason why I asked you to explain exactly what this disease is because of lack of knowledge. When I
I,
first did the show, go ahead.
I believe that's the major reasons. It could be more than that.
And that's part of the reasons why I'm doing this show. And when you look at the number of 100,000 people that are affected, there's more in the United States. I want people to have a clear vision of what exactly is going on because right now, when you say that it only affects a small population of people with a hue to their skin, that's anyone black, brown, or any variation of tan. I want you to look at this. This is 2025. In 2040, all right, Black Americans will become the majority instead of the minority when it comes to numbers. So when you look at the effects of how our young children are collectively merging and creating lives together, without the stigma, the prejudice, and so forth, from whatever, our gene pool is being widened. It becomes the ocean of humanity. And so when you look at that number here, if you say 100,000, there's probably an equal number of people that don't look like us that are carrying the trait. When you go to places like Saudi Arabia, you go to Greece, you go to Turkey, you go to any Spanish-speaking country, those numbers grow. And so when you say that you don't care, at some point, the conversation that we're having right now will be a conversation at the dinner table of a family member that's sitting in an emergency room, that is sitting in a hospital room, or sitting in a funeral home. that you need to have. That's the reason why I said at the top of the show, this is going to be a very uncomfortable conversation. And the reason why I brought Stephanie on here is because you can make a difference. Years ago, when I was growing up, March of Dimes, all you had to do is send in a dime and it would help cure a cause. You see it every single weekend or any major event. I'm a donor to the Humane Society because I love my animals. I'm also a donor to some other things in order to save lives. This is an opportunity for the everyday person to take what little dollars they have and invest in either phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 of finding the cure for sickle cell. And Stephanie, if you can break down, if you don't mind, between you and Dr. Nahara, where are we at right now in the first phase? And I'm going to tell you, whatever number Dr. Nahara is going to tell you, I'm going to tell you there's a couple $1 million need to be added on there because he's acting like a doctor. As a business person, I will tell you, the $7.2 billion that are be given to cancer research, we need a third of that. All right. But right now, we need to jumpstart this campaign because Dr. Nahara has not only created medicine that will make life comfortable for these individuals, but within a couple of years, he has the possibility and potential to eradicate this altogether. And you, my listeners, on just a minimum of $1,000, and I'm putting that out there. This is not them. I'm saying a minimum of $1,000 could be part of the change that you want to see for humanity, not just Black people, humanity in general. So, Stephanie, I didn't mean to step on your toes, but how does the financial aspect of all this work? Tell us what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. And this is such a great thing that you're doing and presenting to your audience. And we're so grateful that you have taken the time to bring this crisis to the masses. So thank you for that. And it is extremely important that we have funding for this great effort that Dr. Nahara has, taken the challenge for, and everyday people can be a part of the solution to eradicate sickle cell disease. And so we would greatly appreciate any of those. You may know someone who is affected. You may be affected yourself by this disease. And as you said, Kevin, yes, we will gladly accept a minimum donation of $1,000 because this is something that will benefit our generations to come. And so the best way that you can do that is to simply send an interest email to us at stephanie.wilson.us. And let me repeat that because I think I may have added one additional dot. So Stephanie at stephaniewilson.us. And we spell Stephanie as STEPHANIE at STEPHANIEWILSON.us. A simple email stating, I'm interested, I believe in the cause, and this is the amount that I'd like to invest. And we will get that process started for you.
And I'm so glad you said invest because I know earlier I said donate. This is not a donation. This is an investment in the cure. And the reason why this is conversation that Kier and Dr. Nahara and I had when we first did this interview. Now, I will tell you, a guy by the name of Tony, he's a motivational speaker. He says that we get 10 arrows in our kill. And what he means by that, when you are on the little thing that's on the back, you put your arrows in, you hold it, you pull out one arrow, It says we get 10 opportunities in life that will either change your life, either personally, professionally, emotionally, or whatever league that you want to attach to it. Now, I will tell you, years ago, someone came to me and said on $1,000 investment, I can invest in this little computer thing. I knew nothing about computers, so I passed on it. There was a company called iOmega. That $1,000 could have changed my life. Then again, I had a conversation with an individual, came back, and at that time I was being interviewed by Inc. magazine. And I was told at that time, put as much money as you can into this company. And $1,000 in investment, it said it will give you a return on it, not guarantee me anything. But again, read the history of anyone that invested $1,000 into a company called Microsoft. Now, this is how smart I am. A lesson learned. 2 times I missed it, whatever, well, no problem. The third time came around, someone invited me to invest $1,500 into a play. I had the check written out, signed. I had the contract signed and carried around. I made one mistake. And this is a mistake I don't want anyone that's listening to the show to make that I made. Do not have a conversation with someone that does not have a dream as big as yours. On a $1,500 investment, I could have been an investor in a play called Rent. Financially would have changed my life for the third time. I've had 3 times. This $1,000 I'm putting into this company myself, all right, is $1,000 that I will guarantee you 3 or 4 years, it will have not only 5 figures, it could have the potential. And I will continue to invest money into it because once this company that's going to be funded by the people goes to the New York Stock Exchange, whatever, I'm just talking off my head. I have no idea what Dr. Nahara and Kier are thinking, but I see this big. I see this the same way Children's Hospital is in every city, see the way St. Jude's is in every city. If funded by the people, for our people, this will allow services and a cure to something that's killing our children for the rest of our lives and the rest of our children's life, and it will become generational and provide opportunities. All right. So I don't know if I could say it any better, but I do know the last time we aired this show, I had 3 people contact and says, how do I get in? So every big idea starts with a small idea. This is a small idea. 4 people here, sitting here, making a dream come true. Now I'm asking you, my listeners, do you want to be the reason why we're standing by a graveside? Or do you want to be the reason why we're standing at a graduation of a child that's living with sickle cell? Or standing with a parent that has eradicated sickle cell altogether? And the reason why it'd be because we'll be standing at a race next September in Atlanta, running for the cure of a cure, and I'm inviting everyone to show up with me. I got 5 of my friends committed, or we'll be having a conversation with Stephanie and Dr. Nahara, talking about how do we get into phase 1. Dr. Nahara, how much do you need for phase 1?
Well, we are trying to raise altogether $800,000.
All right, do me a
And
favor, Dr. Nahara. I need you to not put doubt on a dream. Try. That's what the guy sitting on the bench is doing in the Super Bowl. He's been trying. That's the reason why he's not number 1. Dr. Nahara, you need $800,000 in order to get started. So let's say that again.
yeah, we have $800,000 during the first phase. Thank goodness that since December, Kier and his friends has already added $200,000 to it, and then me and my friends has added $200,000. So please help us with another $400,000. Then this will take us to the next phase, which is going to be much bigger. In this next phase, we are looking to raise $20 million through Regulation A. And once we have the approval from the countries that I'm applying to, we do plan to go on the big board, hopefully New York Stock Exchange with the Amex.
All right. Let me ask you this. I already know the answer because most people are saying, why don't you just go to big pharma? They have billions of dollars they can put into this. And Kira, I'll ask you, why aren't you going to big businesses, big pharma to do this instead of coming to the everyday people? I mean, our people are talking about generational wealth. We don't know how to invest. Now, this is going to be their first investment. and they don't know that they can get 10 people with $100 and start an LLC and become a corporation, take that $1,000. Um, why are big companies doing it? You're the co-host of Steve Harvey show. Why aren't all these people doing it? I mean, we don't even need to have this conversation if they got into it.
Well, with respects to Steve and everything else,
And I
it's
didn't mean to bring up Steve. Yes, I did. I
no,
didn't mean
no,
to.
it's no problem. I mean, Mr. Harvey has been
It's
it's full support of my foundation and everything else. This here is more personal to me. This is a fight that I want to do personally for me. Mr. Harvey has been a great asset because first thing was he gave me the platform. That's worth more than $800,000. I told him, you let me in the room, I get it myself. As far as big pharma goes, I would suggest that this is just me thinking as a patient, that there's no money in the cure. It's just in the treatment. That I don't see them wanting to take Dr. Nahara's product and actually see the benefits of it for the world. Because then they could just take it and just sideline it. They could just buy Dr. Nahara out. And I don't think that's Dr. Nahara's vision. That's not my vision. The vision is this is something that we treat for the entire world. My foundation, Cures Hope Foundation, is not something I think about as an American company or how I do look at sickle cell. Sickle cell has always been a global issue for me. Because if we're okay over here in the US and then they're not okay in the other side of the world, then we haven't done our job. It was like if you look at like how much it is to get gene therapy, it's $5 million. They say, well, we found a cure. Well, it can't be a cure if everybody can't do it. You look at all the other stuff, bone marrow transplant. Well, it can't be a cure if everybody don't have a bone marrow match. See, all of those things I tune out. I just focus on what I know I'm able to do. And then here it is. It's like you have the Michael Jordan, the sickle cell sitting right here, and all you gotta do is just give him the ball. That's it. I mean, he's just that good at what he does. I mean, he studied his whole life for this. And it comes at a time, where you just have to look at it and say, hey, he came and asked me to help him to do so. And, it was something I had to think about uh, very seriously. And then I thought about my mother and what she would have me to do. I thought about what the Lord would have me to do. So this is way past just what are we doing. Like you said, Kevin, we're thinking too small here. It's not just 100,000 because if you put all of us in it, we're way past 100,000. We're in the multi-millions of people who suffer with this exact disease. It's not the fact that I need to be cured. I may not ever get the cure. I remember one time I told myself this. I did, and this is the honest to God truth. They came to me and said, if they had a cure tomorrow for sickle cell where you would give up everything to do it, would you do it? Give up everything for a cure. And I said, yeah, I would. Because see, until it happens to you, until it hits your family, you wouldn't understand the sacrifice you give not to see your baby in that hospital bed. You won't understand what that sacrifice is when they tell you can't, your kid is not in that much pain, or you won't say that until you lose your kid with sickle cell. Once you experience that pain, and it's just like anything else, but they're gone at such a young age. They were serious when they told me I wasn't gonna live past 11. They were dead serious when that man looked my parents in the eye and said, well, don't even plan a life for him. He's 11. He's 7 now. Don't even plan a life for him. That's 4 more years. You're gonna waste your time. That is a problem. You cannot snatch dreams away from people. You taking them. He could have been the next president. She could have been the next president. Could have been the next CEO. You don't know whose dream you just killed. And then personally, my story too, yeah, I've tried to commit suicide because I started to believe in what they told me. That's not fair. I ain't fighting for just a cure here. I'm fighting for somebody to have a dream. Now you can look at me and say, well, you got to do yours. Yeah, great. But I didn't do it without sickle cell. Nobody knows when I was standing on stage telling jokes, I was in a sickle cell crisis. They didn't know. Nobody knew like not to have insurance, trying to achieve a dream. It's plenty of us out there doing that. And there's probably more of us out here in the United States with sickle cell, but they're scared to come forward because of how they've been treated. So yeah, it's that serious. It is that. It is that. And if you know somebody who has sickle cell, ask them the troubles that they have. Ask them what they deal with. Ask them how they feel. They don't have a problem telling you. Just nobody asks. Nobody's concerned. And that's, excuse me if I've said too much.
No, 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 no. You know, Michael Jordan of sickle cell,
Right
you
there.
know, handed you the ball. You know, we had seconds left on the clock.
I
You
give
took
you that
you,
harm.
you took a layup, got your own rebound, came back up. You dribbled twice at the top of the key, step back, all net 3-pointer.
Man, that
You hit
Nahara
it.
sitting right there.
You
He can do it.
you hit it. You hit it. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why Kier um defied the odds of 11, 12, 13, now 40 going plus is because Dr. Nahara created a medication. And the reason why I asked that question is because I knew the answer going in is that big business, if they don't see profit in it, in order for you to go away, they would buy it, they will put it on a shelf. It's just like our movie business. You know, there's stories out there need to be told that people have bought the rights to that never will get told. This story right here is going to have a happy ending. You know, I am going to keep running my mouth on this show until someone tells me I can't do it anymore. And I will tell you, as soon as they cut off the internet on me, I will stand on Mr. Franklin in Philadelphia over there, and I will get a blowhorn and start doing it. All right. I am not going to stop. And for those of my listeners, and the reason why I have such impactful listeners is because they don't drive by an accident. They stop and help. When I tell you that the last time we did this, we had 3 people contact within 3 hours, I would say 4 hours after releasing that interview, saying, what can I do? How can I get involved? And there's the reason why I'm doing this follow-up show. So Stephanie, if someone wants to get involved financially, make the investment that will change not only someone's life, you're going to save a life, but in a couple of years, watch what $1,000 would do. Because these are the conversations that happen amongst the people in the White House at their private parties. At our parties, we talk about the cars, the clothes, and everything else. These people are talking about future investments and where your dollar can grow. Right here, plant the seed right now. Stephanie, how do they get involved?
Absolutely. So, and just to piggyback really quickly on what Kier mentioned, he mentioned his mother, and I would just like to appeal to the parents there. I've met Kier's mom and dad, and just think for parents who are out here with children with this disease, no doubt they want to see their child or children cured, or the hospital visits diminish, the crises, the pain from the crises diminished. So parents, I appeal to you, to make this investment in Nahara International Inc. Not only is it a worthy investment, you can also have a equity stake in the company should you decide to invest. One thing that we do not see is a guaranteed investment. So if you invest today, within 2 years, if you choose to receive your investment back in full, you can do that. We will guarantee your investment return plus 1% in 2 years of making the investment. However, you also can have the option of converting your investment to a convertible note, which simply means you take your initial investment, and in 2 years, if you decide, hey, I like where this is going, you can take that initial investment and for 75 cents, have an equity stake in Nahara International Incorporated. Who does that? Do you think Big Pharma will offer that opportunity?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, you know, Super Bowl tickets this week, almost 10 grand. And I would tell you that as for my people, Black people, this may come as a surprise to you. The two worst investments that you can have, it's an automobile and jewelry. No return on the investments. All right. Now, what I just heard here, the return on investment is high. I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm providing an opportunity. I'm going to provide this opportunity to tell stories. Going forward, we're going to meet some of Kier friends, some of my friends, some of my friends from the NFL, some of my friends from the NBA, some of my friends from Major League Baseball, some of my friends from the entertainment world. We're going to be sharing stories. We're going to put faces to sickle cell. Some of the faces are no longer here, and you're going to have to deal with the faces that are still grieving. When I talk about a father that has two children, Kier and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago that he lost one of them, had another daughter that was refused treatment, had to travel to another state to get treatment because they called her a drug seeker just because of the color of her skin. This is a child. No parent should ever outlive their children. And with this program, you could be responsible for the reason why father like Kiera will be sitting in the stands and cheering a high school, college graduation. You know, the reason why Dr. Nahara will be sitting there with his family and they will be recognizing him, you know, with a life-changing award because he sacrifices time, energy, research, and friends in order to save lives, not just one life, but we save them. We save lives one life at a time. And when you talk about the fact, when we talk about creating generational wealth, I want to take you down the avenue of change. This is an avenue. So reach out and share this video. Don't share it with someone that doesn't have a dream. Don't share this with someone that's only looking for a good time. Share it with someone that's trying to put a kid through college. Share it with someone that instead of walking by the kettle and dropping $1, all right, they put a couple of dollars in. Share it with someone that stands on a platform that says that they want to be the reason for change. And they say they're the first person in and they bring 5 friends with them. This is how simple this is. Normally I say 10, just bring 5 friends with you. 5 friends that will invest in Kier's Hope Foundation. And the day that we line up to run his race this coming September in Atlanta, it will be the first step towards the day that we will be standing on the grounds, cutting the ribbon to the opening of the first Sickle Cell Foundation hospital, center, resort, retreat for our people. Be the change that you want your children to see. That's what I say. Dr. Nahar, before we leave, I'm going to go around the horn. Is there anything that you want to speak personally to the one person that's listening to this interview that has just shared it with 5 of his friends?
Yes. So with your support, you're not just changing the lives of patients, but as Stephanie said, if you choose to convert your investment into our equity, let's say at the end of this year, if our stock price is $5, you can buy that $5 stock for 75 cents and you can turn around and sell it. So this is a type of growth that we are talking about. And it's this way because we are early stage of the company and with the success, early company or early stage company tend to multiply, not just few percent, but multiply. So I want you to know this. And we are not going to stop until we can make sickle cell disease a chronic disease, just like blood pressure or diabetes. These people now living long life and even HIV. Now we don't even hear about people dying of HIV. That's what we want to do with sickle cell disease. We may not completely cure, but we're going to eradicate all the issues and give them not just a good quality of life, but longevity equal to people without sickle cell disease. And we are almost there. Thank you for this opportunity, Kevin.
All right. No, thank you, Dr. Nahara. Stephanie, one more time, just kind of go a quick breakdown of how people get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So we do have a secondary email that is a bit easier for people to reach us at, and that is info dot N as in Nancy, I as in igloo, 2024 at gmail.com. Again, that's info dot NII 2024 at gmail.com.
All right. So you know how to reach out to her. We gave earlier Stephanie at stephaniewilson.us. That's another alternative avenue. It's a great opportunity. Kier, to your listeners and to your future listeners, if and I just want to tell you, anyone, I haven't talked to Kira about it, but, Kira's going to be sending swag out to people that donate because, he didn't give any of us hats yet, but he'll
Yeah,
probably give you guys hats or whatever.
I can
Kira,
do
what
that.
would you like to say to your people?
Well, hey man, it is actually a pleasure to actually take on this challenge. I've taken on many challenges before, but this would be probably the biggest one I've ever done. And I just don't run from challenges. I think it's most important to understand is that what I'm doing is not for the benefit to say that I did this, I did that, but to actually have my life actually stand for something, a cause that I believe in. And I know the number of people who are dependent on me to say something. And I told them I would. So therefore, that's how I can say thank you, Kevin, for the opportunity to give me the platform to speak. Honestly, not trying to be the celebrity, just being a regular person with this disease. I'm pretty sure that I understand the difference between Junior and Kier because it's easy. Junior on the radio didn't have sickle cell, but Kier does. And Dr. Nahara is worthy of an opportunity to change these people's lives. The minute that you can actually understand that, hey, my child can go play football, or my child can go play basketball or run track, or my child can go have go swimming with other kids and actually have a normal life. And we spend more times with each other than we do in hospitals. That'll be the difference.
All
That's the
right.
difference. That's the code. That's the secret. It's the fact that we're not spending millions and millions of dollars a year as a collective group, and we get to see that number in the healthcare system drop because we're living such terrific lives that we get to spend it with families and make events and look at each other and tell them I love you and actually mean it, and not to worry about if I'm going to have to go into a crisis or not. That's the effect of what Dr. Nahara is working on. Giving
All
you your
right.
life back, man. That's it. And thank you, Kevin.
All right. Don't thank me.
No, Kevin,
Thank
we're gonna
you.
thank you and give you a hat because that's what you want. That's what you want. You want the thank you and the hat, Kevin. I'm gonna give you to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna share insight. This brother shows up looking good every single time we do an episode. He has all this swag and whatever. You know, I keep asking. I keep asking. He shows up in this hat. Look how nice that hat is.
Oh
Major
man.
League Baseball players' hats don't even look like that.
Oh
That
man,
that is
we
a
got
high
him.
quality hat. But on a serious note, I hope you're listening, people. I hope you're listening. I'm also going to tell you, I want you to keep this a secret. All right, because when your life changes because you've changed someone else, I'm gonna ask you, please don't tell. When you turn around on $1,000 investment, and 3 years from now, you look at your statement and it says, this has grown substantially. I'm going to ask you, please don't tell, because no one's going to believe you. No one's going to believe that you have an opportunity to get in on the ground floor of something that's going to be worth billions in the next couple years, and you're going to be the recipient of that. I mean, who tells you that if you don't have enough guts to stay in the game for the long term, that they're going to give you your money back with interest? Can't go to bank and do that. You know, you can't go to the racetrack or the casino and do that. FanDuel says that, but I don't mean to call out FanDuel, but if you win something, you got to spend it before you do anything else, and then after that, you're using your own money. Okay, God, they're so smart. But anyway, we've covered a lot of information here, and I'm going to leave this for you just to think about. To grow, you must make some mistakes. To be confident, you must address your anxieties. To forgive yourself, you must hold you accountable. To learn, you must unlearn some stuff. To exist, we've asked each and every person on here to show up as more. It's the reason why we're doing this. You need to understand the power of your words. This comes from a mindset messenger. You want to be the change you want your children to see. And if your children are living with sickle cell, they'll never get a chance to see the change unless you get involved. We've covered a lot of information during this episode, and I hope at some point we've enlightened you, and at some point we have touched you. If you like what you heard, go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page, follow and subscribe. If you want or you have a story that's pertaining to sickle cell, or you happen to be one of these people that made a donation, would like to come on air and explain why and motivate people to do so, come and join us on this show, Dr. Nahara and Kier, and we'll talk about this. I am not giving up on this. I'm going to tell you, I'm not giving up. My grandfather told me when you get to a point in life you can help someone else out, he said it's your duty to do so. And I'm exercising my right. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll fade to black, and we're out.